Someone is screaming in the dark. I hope it's Lord's. I put cockroaches in her pillow and sewed up the slip so they struggle to get out, so they crawl under her head or over her face and into her ears, I hope, nesting there, the nymphs damaging her brain. I left small gaps between the stitches so the cockroaches would escape slowly, so it would take effort. Like when I trap them, imprison them, in my hands. Some of them bite. They have flexible skeletons, they can flatten themselves and fit through tiny spaces, live without heads for days, survive underwater for a long time. They're fascinating. I like to experiment with them. Cut off their antennae, their legs, stick needles in them. I squash them with a glass so I can linger over their primitive, brutal frames. I boil them. I burn them. I kill them.
Just girl things.
Today we're reading my diary. No big deal.
Yeah, just girly things.
What do you need or what could be? How are the union and the socialist be? Everything I can need, oh I need, oh I need, oh I need, oh what could be? Oh what could be? Oh what could be? Oh what could be? Oh.
Welcome back to Workers Lit, your favorite podcast about fighting for the narrative. We are here, and as promised, we have an announcement today. We also have an episode. We're going to be talking about The Unworthy by Agustina Bazterrica. But before we do, Lenore, Aisha, which one? Who should say it? We didn't actually prep this very well. I'm not going to lie. This should be-
We're gonna make a Patreon because Mama needs new sound equipment.
We would love your money. Hashtag give us money. This is something that we've been asked about for a little bit. I mean, this show's been going in one form or another for a few years now. We're putting out a couple episodes a week, and we're going to continue to put out a couple episodes a week, without a paywall. But we wanted to tell y'all what we're doing, and people had all kinds of different cool ideas. Some people reached out to us with honestly kind of some of the stuff that we were already thinking about. So let's go through our tiers. And once again, and I just want to say, if you can't afford this, we hate you. No, we appreciate everyone who listens to this, but genuinely, it would be incredibly nice. So let me just go through this, because it turns out you don't get infinite money from doing a podcast with no sponsors. I'm not kidding. I had someone ask how much money I'm making, and I'm like, there's no paywall, there's no sponsors, like where am I making money in that? And they're like, doesn't Spotify pay you? And I was like,
Girl,
that's
funny.
funny.
So funny.
That's
You said,
good.
what did you say a while back? Like, hey, we made like what, 5 cents from the downloads.
We have cumulatively made 6 cents from downloads over our entire 3-year run.
That's so fucking awesome. We're
Because
really killing it.
That's a penny and a half for each of us.
Well, that because podcast downloads pay even less than like song downloads, and famously, song downloads do not pay on Spotify. It's really good. Anyway, so drum roll, please. You don't need a drum roll unless our editor wants to put it in. $3 tier. You get to suggest and vote on episode topics. This is a thing that we've had in the past, but we're going to have it set up so you can put in your episode topics. Both
the president's daughter.
Lenore, do not sway the audience.
There's
you
a
can
monster
put in.
biting my toes. Sorry.
We got a kitty in the room.
Yeah,
is this a certified Ronnie moment?
Yeah, she's a certified Ronnie moment. She's biting my toes.
That's pretty cool. Ronnie is excited about the $3 tier, as we all should be.
The Ronnie tier.
Yeah, the Ronnie tier, you're allowed to put in basically once a month. We are going to be doing on both sides of the pod an episode that is framed a topic that is chosen by people at the $3 and higher tier. You're going to be able to put it in. Then we're going to sort of put together the suggestions, and y'all are going to be able to vote on it. That's going to be both on the political side of the pod and the literature / if you want to get a little weird with the visual novel, something like that. We can maybe be flexible. We'll see. $5. We're going to be doing or trying to do some kind of monthly live stream, which will go up as an episode as well for those at the $5 tier. This is something that we've been asked about. We'll be interacting with patrons, answering questions, talking about whatever. You'll be able to submit questions ahead of time if you can't make the live stream. We'll just be shooting the shit. We know you need more sweet, sweet content. And of course, we are here to deliver it to you. At the $10 tier, you are going to get a specialized shout out and also some bonus written content. I don't know what it's going to be forever, but at first I am going to be, and this is a grave sacrifice on my part. You don't even know. But when I was a teenager, wrote a fantasy novel. You're like, oh, that's cute. No, it's not. It's a horrible Christian fantasy novel.
Hell yeah.
It's like C.S. Lewis, but worse. Like a lot worse and a lot more like if C.S. Lewis tried to write Aragon, that's what we're talking about here. I just uncovered the script for it. I thought it was lost until my grandmother found it in a box. We've got
Oh my God.
300
Oh,
pages
wow.
of content right here. And I can, there's some great lore. There's some great shit going on here. I put thought into the magic system. I put thought into the part where he has dreams where Jesus is a dragon. I was really definitely gay writing this, and it's shocking that I didn't realize it. Why do I have a scene where the protagonist gets out of the bathtub and checks himself out in the mirror in my Christian fantasy novel? That's crazy. So that'll be the $10 tier. At the $20 tier, I wrote down even more specialized shout out. Just give us $20. And then $999.
We'll actually pronounce your name right.
Yeah, $999. You want to tell them what you get at $999? What that
you're gay.
Become? You're gay.
You're gay.
If you give us,
Yeah.
if you give us $1,000 a month or $999 a month, you're gay.
What did we decide the class trader tier at one point we were talking about calling it that?
Class trader tier is email me to set up that relationship to become an actual patron for us. We'll live on your property. And
Word.
do live
Yeah.
podcasts.
We've also talked about potentially doing some sort of maybe actual play D&D situation, but we haven't fully committed to that at any tier yet. Because that would be a Jacob endeavor mostly because you'd be DMing.
Yes, we will do that. We'll set up some kind of stretch goal for that, when we get a certain number of patrons. The honest fact of the matter is I have no idea how many people are going to subscribe to this. I know a lot of people have asked about it, but we'll see if those people actually give us money.
Or if they're posers.
Yeah, or if they're posers, which is also fine. We love posers.
Haters and losers, yeah.
Yes. So,
all right, I'm going to let my poor kitty out of the room.
Let the poor kitty out of the room. And as Aisha does that, I'll just tell y'all, do you want to pay for that poor kitty's food? Or do you, it's a question. Ronnie is y'all have to give me money so I can have the premium catnip, all of that.
Ronnie
that's
clamoring for us to read the Elden Ring joke manga.
Yes.
I literally stared. I opened the door and she just sat there and stared at me, and I had to gesture her out the door with Will Smith hands.
Can you believe it's been 10 years since Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars? I saw someone post that today, and for a second I was like, what? I got so mad that I fell for that.
We're living in the what was it, 2022?
Yeah, it's not 10, yeah. The incident that
That's
shook
so
the
funny.
nation. If you give us $10,000 a month, we will slap Chris Rock at the Oscars. Anyway, so now you know about that. Tell your friends. Do it. You want to. Anything else on that, folks?
No. So we would love your support. No worries if you can't do it. I know that everybody's broke right now, but
for sure.
I'm also broke, so
right, exactly.
Please pay me money.
Yeah. I'm genuinely excited to see what we come up with. You mentioned visual novels, other formats that are narrative that we could do based on people's suggestions. I for one am looking forward to our 15-parter on Katawa Shoujo.
Yeah.
What is that, Lenore?
Oh, it's the visual novel that 4chan wrote that's actually really good.
Oh, okay.
Lenore brings us so much cursed literature.
Yeah, Aisha's here's gay literature. Lenore's here's cursed literature, and I'm not sure what I'm doing.
I mean, I could bring us cursed gay literature.
True. I mean, Gaywick was pretty cursed.
It is pretty cursed. Yeah.
I'm bringing us. I'm just on Instagram, just DMing authors, the longest shot of all time. Come on our podcast, and some of them have responded. The next few months, we're gonna have some cool guests. All that to say, we have a novel today. I've talked a lot. Who wants to introduce this piece of work here?
Hi. I guess I'm the resident Agustina Bazterrica head on the show at this point.
By the way,
This.
Bazterrica told me she's listened. She did DM and said she's listened to at least one episode, which was our
Oh wow.
episode on Tinder is the Flesh. So Bazterrica, Miss Bazterrica, if you're listening, sorry that we don't speak Spanish,
Mhm.
but we appreciate you.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I'm very. It's always nice when we hear from authors who are like, "Hey, thanks for yapping about us." It's always nice as a creative to get that kind of engagement. Um, But yes, so a while back, of course, we did Tender is the Flesh. It's one of my favorite books, and she followed it up a few years later. I believe it released in Spanish in 2023 and English last year. It is called The Unworthy. And my 5-second elevator pitch about this one is like, if Tender is the Flesh is about learning to accept your place in an oppressive hierarchy, right? The Unworthy is about learning to enjoy it, right? Like the point where contradictions sharpen so severely that you need to retreat into delusion in order to continue existing.
Yeah, and it was also, I should note, translated by Sarah Moses. So it was a collaborative process. The same translator that brought us Tinder is the Flesh in English. And we didn't do. We're not going to do a whole bio because we already did a whole bio. But I'm going to read really quickly the bio at the end of the book for Agustina Bazterrica. Just born in Buenos Aires in 1974, has a degree in arts from the University of Buenos Aires. Tinder is the Flesh established Bazterrica as a best selling author worldwide, with translations into 30 languages and 500,000 copies sold in English alone. Her latest novel, The Unworthy, was enthusiastically received upon its Spanish language publication in 2023, affirming Bazterrica's status as a prominent author in contemporary literature.
It's interesting that it specify, and I know this is not the intent, but it's interesting that it specifies like this was enthusiastically received upon its Spanish language publication. Because Jacob, I understand you and Aisha have been going through some English language reception on the
Well,
various horror literature subreddits.
I have at least. I don't know. Aisha, have you?
No, I've just looked at the things that you've put in front of me, but it looks pretty typical for what I know of the literature subreddits.
I found that the horror subreddits especially are really really facile in a really weird way. I'm not going to, call out anyone in particular. I don't want people to go on there and like flame anyone, whatever, just some like 17-year-old who's writing a review. But like people just being like I couldn't follow, didn't realize one of the characters was a cat for a while.
Oh, you didn't
Uh
guess when she like swished her tail and moved her ears and like meowed and hissed and purred?
she thought it was the lady from Mockingjay.
It made it made me think of that tweet that was like or maybe it was an Instagram post. I can't remember what it was, but it was a girl who was like reading a fantasy novel and she was like, "Oh my god, you guys, I can't believe I spent half this book thinking that this one character was a horse." And everybody was like, "But does it ever say he's a horse?" And he's like, "No." She's like, "No." And he also talks. She's like, "Yeah, I thought he was a talking horse."
Based on what? Like
I
the
think I literally have no idea. I'll see if I can find the post. It's iconic.
I gotta say, and it reminds me of the email I got that just was subject line blank. Just the body of the email was, "Why aren't your characters straight?" Talking about my book. And I'm like, I don't know because they're not. Like, I love readers. They're so cool. I was
Okay,
like, why?
I found
Some
the
of them
post.
are.
Y'all, I am 40% into this book I'm reading, and this whole time I thought one of the characters was a horse. He is a man.
What book? I wonder what book it was. What's the funniest book that could have been?
uh Game of Thrones, probably. Like if you thought that like
Ned Stark was a horse.
yeah, Ned Stark or like Khal Drogo was a horse and that Daenerys married a horse.
I was thinking
Honestly, yeah. It's
the
horse
Horse
on that
Lord.
dude.
Yeah, I was like out of left field. I was thinking like a biography, right? Like Andrew Jackson, American Lion.
I thought PETA was a horse the whole time. This is so confusing.
I thought he was a piece of bread.
He said he got his leg hurt. I mean, they do that a lot.
That's
I thought
true.
the Democrat president, former Marine, former baseball star, was a horse until like partway through.
No,
Hey,
but
you're
like
that horse from Horsing Around. Sorry.
exactly. So this is a good book. This is a fun book that we're gonna get into. It's a very dark book. I think you saw that from the top. I mean, you know, it maybe not the darkest thing we've covered, but like it's got its moments. It definitely has sexual violence in it. It certainly has violence against animals, things of that nature, violence against people. It has heavy-handed climate change metaphors, according to like several people. I love having a heavy-handed metaphor that's just a thing in the book. I'm
I
sorry.
thought the blowing up planets metaphor was really heavy handed in Star Wars.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
metaphors.
When people like it's like those YouTube videos that are like explained this like 10 things you missed in Avengers Endgame, and it's just like the plot of the movie.
Yeah, 10 things you missed. If you look very subtly, Tony Stark is there.
You know that the Hulk is always angry.
Yeah. Okay. So someone describe the plot of this book.
The climate apocalypse has happened. The seas have boiled. The AI has the artificial intelligence has taken over the world. And the speaker, the character whose name we never learn. I don't think we learn her fake name or her real name.
No.
She's just the speaker character, is part of a evil lesbian cult that is
Worst polycule ever.
Yeah, the worst polycule ever. They are extremely against God and Jesus and Mary. Like they have like, what do they call Mary? The negative mother or whatever. But basically they have just invented Catholicism too. Like this is an extremely Catholic book.
Yes.
Yeah, they're doing Catholicism too. There's like this weird, like there's strict hierarchy of like different like saints and like enlightened beings. They have like weird names. Like what is it? Like the full aura, the diaphanous spirit, like stuff like that. And then one character who's just referred to as he, who they never see, who they just hear his voice, and he is constantly telling them what like unworthy and horrible women they are, and they need to be purified. Like basically just like, you know, Handmaid's Tale shit, but like not corny.
Getting increasingly creative with it too. He is like,
yeah.
We'll get into it, but there's a certain level of play that you are afforded when you have absolute power and you don't expect to be held accountable.
I mean, to quote him, like this is like a speech he'll give to them. They're like listening to him talk from behind a screen, which is what he's doing all the time. And he says, "You are she-wolves engendering poison, a battalion inseminated by perdition and atrocity, a sack of fetid putrefaction, a seedbed of disgraceful lucubrators. How do I say that word? Lucubrators?
Let me look that up real quick.
It just made me
Unworthy
think. It made me
homicidal
think of
women.
It made me think of what is that fucking movie called? The movie with the gun is good, the penis is evil.
Yes.
Zardoz, yes.
Yeah, Zardoz. That's what it made me think of.
And him saying lucubators makes one of the women go hee hee hee. She like laughs at that word, and then she like gets like her life ruined for that. Like that's the kind of like thing we're fucking with.
Yeah,
here.
they put her in like the chastity cage for your face or whatever.
Yeah, the chastity cage that keeps you from sucking dick, or eating pussy, as it were.
The Hey Mitch machine, yeah.
Yes. Yes. It all comes back to Hey Mitch. Yeah, the guy was Hey Mitch the whole time. No, he would never. He would never be.
Hamish would never.
He would never.
First of all, Hamish would not be having sex with all those women.
Yes.
No.
Not a one. So
that's somebody else's job.
This whole book is written from the perspective of as we said, an unnamed woman who came here, like all the rest of them, to find some kind of survival in this desolate post-apocalyptic landscape. This is like the opposite of Ministry for the Future. This is like as bad as it could possibly be, to like a crazy extent. Like this is like 2200 or something like that, and we just kept doing shit. Like it is really, really, really bad. Seasons basically don't exist anymore. And for some reason, this monastery is more or less insulated from the effects of the outside world. I mean, it gets to its acid rain, and when they have like moments of like acid rain or bad weather, all the women have to like self-flagellate or whatever to stop the horrors from coming.
Well, in a
But
way,
you know,
it seems like it's insulated by magic.
yes, it is like there is borderline magic going on here for sure. It's a little unclear in a fun way exactly how much supernatural stuff is at play, but like it describes some people as like glowing and levitating at moments. Like even if you can say it's in this character's head, but since we live in this character's head, it might as well be real. You know, there's there's water that makes you crazy. Like
it feels very in line with the way that I think medieval people would have understood the world and how miracles work and how things manifest, and that there were things that they just kind of took for granted as being possible, like miracles happened and stuff like that. People could influence the world in ways that we don't believe is possible. So that's kind of how I saw it.
And they say that the enlightened ones, which is, you know, a mix of the aforementioned like order of women who have mutilated themselves in some way, like removing their tongues or removing their eyes or the ears, and then also like the beautiful women who just like live behind a gigantic wooden door for nefarious purposes, are keeping the radiation away. They're doing constant prayers. They're listening. The women without tongues are listening to your thoughts. All kinds of really fun, horrible shit. It's a bad place to be, y'all. It's not fun. I've got to say.
Yeah, I guess there's the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. There's like the people with their eardrums perforated, the ones with their tongues cut out, and then the ones with their eyes sewn shut. And those are the three chosen, right? Those are the chosen. And then there's the minor saint. No, yeah, there's the chosen, and then there's the enlightened. And the enlightened are the beautiful women they put behind the door.
Yeah. It's
right.
What it was it pretty clear to y'all from the jump that they're put back there to be sex slaves for the dude running things?
Yes.
100%.
Yeah. I think from the beginning that's pretty clear. I think on some level Homegirl realizes it too, right? And like it's and that's what intrigues me, right? Because there's as raw and as fundamentally mean and grubby as this book can be, I do find there's a little bit more optimism in it ultimately than Tender is the Flesh, because right, it's Tender is the Flesh, right? It ends basically before where it began. You know, Marcos Tejo accepts his position in, you know, the hierarchy and whatnot once he finds a way that it can give him something he's lost, right?
Yeah, he's like, okay, I finally feel okay working at the person eating factory.
Exactly.
Yes, that's literally what happens. Listen to our episode on Tender is the Flesh.
And here, right, what you see, what the arc that you see in this text is a process of radicalization, right? Of, you know, if not gaining like class consciousness, like coming to see something you already suspect is odious in its full ugliness and deciding, okay, like, I don't know what comes after this, but there has to be an after.
Right. And I think also it really is, I think, a story about how toxic faith can just be broken out of with something else to hold on to. So it really makes you think about how like evangelical churches and like cults and more like Mormonism and all of these like very insular groups, they try so hard to make sure that people can't see anything outside of the church, because as soon as people get a sniff that there could be anything else, for instance lesbianism, like then all of the magic, all of the secrets, all the sacredness goes away.
Yeah, to the point where like even in the prose, right, even just like structurally in how this book is written, you can see a sort of coming to consciousness and gaining of confidence on the part of our protagonist, right? It's there's a lot of parentheticals in this text, especially like in the first half or so of the book. And what I found infuriating in the prose of Matthew Gazda, right, I adore here because the text is actually supposed to be moving at the speed of our protagonist's thought, right? Because like it's as you say, Aisha, like these people are not only denied any like knowledge or experience of the outside world, but also like they're in trouble if they get caught like writing stuff down and like reminiscing, and they are denied introspection at all times of the day, except those that Homegirl can steal to write, right? Her thoughts are going to be constantly half-formed, constantly revised as she uses whatever she has handy to render them in some permanent form, whether that's correcting herself, whether that's clarifying herself. And she writes it indeed in whatever she has to hand. Like sometimes it's charcoal, sometimes it's the juice of berries, sometimes it's blood.
Yeah.
Right. And also I think it should be noted that throughout this book all the time there will be passages that just cut off midway because somebody came in and she got scared. There's lines that she's just marked through. I mean, we can still read what she's marked through, but like there
Mhm.
are words like forest and woods that she has trouble with because of her past trauma, or like where she'll occasionally allude to the fact that the superior sister, who's like the woman who's over all of them, at one point molested her. And she'll mark through that. Um, but she's, she's continuing to exist through this writing, through this, it's kind of this, like I was saying, it's like, it's about this way that control exists, this trying to control the superstructure of your society, trying to hold back there from being any other kind of infiltration of ideology, and the necessity of to break out of a structural like horror like this, you actually have to have some other ideology to cling to. There has to be something else. And the different women look to different things. To sort of quote here why she writes, because she could get in serious trouble for this. She says, "Someone might read me, read us. There are times I think that none of this matters. Why put myself in danger with this book of the night? But I have to, because if I write it, then it was real. If I write it, maybe we won't just be part of a dream contained in a planet inside a universe hidden in the imagination of someone," and this next part is crossed out, "who lives in the mouth of God. Each of these words contain my pulse, my blood, my breath. If I write it down, she returns to the present of my memory." And then this is her, and she's remembering people that she's lost. And they continue to exist if they're in some way recorded. And she even thinks if this this paper gets destroyed, it still somehow exists because she's written it. It exists somewhere in the earth. And that's her act of rebellion. And this isn't her being like, let's be clear, she's not like a secret dissident rebel, like organizing rebellion against the church. This is just like how she exists. She still like mostly believes in this stuff, at least until towards the end of the book. It's just like she has these acts of rebellion. And if people have lived in oppressive religious structures or political structures, they'll know you have this. You divide up your brain. You do these kind of things. I mean, it's very, I won't say relatable. I've never lived in a convent where I have to walk on glass, but there are relatable things to like being raised in like Christian private school and things like that.
I was gonna say, like you said that she's not a dissident. She's very bought in, and she's very, at least in the beginning, she has very little empathy. Like
Oh, yeah.
all of the girls, they hate each other. They constantly backstab each other, are competing because they all want to become enlightened because they think that becoming enlightened, you get to live better. Um, Obviously, that's not the case, and she seems to realize that pretty fast. But yeah, she like that first page that we read in the beginning says she's like doesn't really have any pity for people. She likes watching people suffer, and she sort of learns. She says later, she's like, "Lucia taught me mercy," or something like that. Lucia.
And as well, like it's before she really comes to the confidence in, no, I don't want to be this. No, I don't want this to be my destiny. Right. There are moments where she's like, yeah, she writes the chosen and then the mutilated, but the mutilated is crossed out, right? She can't really bring herself to embrace what this means. There's a spot very early on, from page 7 to 8 here. Full auras can discern the divine signals, the hidden signs he sends us in the Chapel of Ascension. That's why they have those marks. Understanding God's messages leave traces on their bodies, wounds on their fragile skin, sores that never heal, so they don't forget his presence. She seems to radiate a light capable of invoking the angels. I squinted, and in the gloom I could make out the aura that crowned her. It was perfectly radiant. Lances of fire surrounded her head, vibrating of their own free will. I closed my eyes, dazzled, and felt she must live in an immaculate time when pain did not exist. right? And this is a full aura, right? This is somebody who's, as we said, her eardrums have been ruptured. She can't hear. Like she's basically gets to speak in tongues, right? And to lead like these ceremonies. Um, and we're still in the mode of looking up to this person because, okay, she's been deprived of one of her senses, right? The only aspiration left to somebody so lost in the sauce right now is like this inability to perceive their own suffering, right?
And I mean, like, let me be clear. Like, you just heard this. She is seeing fire around this woman's head.
Mhm.
How reliable we think the narrator is, we're not sure. But and it's not like this religion is fully true. Like, it's not true that these people can see their thoughts clearly, or she would be busted. On the other hand, she is witnessing miracles. I am put in mind of being a very young boy in church, and there was a church elder, who his name was actually John Brown, which is pretty funny. Not similar vibes. And he claimed he could read your sins on his forehead, on your forehead. He claimed like he could read our sins when he like looked at us. Um, and like it was real to us. Like whether or not like it was, and the thing was like, yeah, he looked at a 12-year-old boy and says, "You have the sin of lust." Good job, John. You
Yeah,
figured
jacking
it
off.
right. But like to us, that was like, oh, I just witnessed an actual miracle. This guy is a prophet of God. Like this is an experience people have when you like live in this. And there is more of that. I mean, you get in like the frenzy of worship. You hear the speaking of tongues. Like this is a real feeling that you get caught into, and you have to have something else that is beautiful, something else that is meaningful in some way to break free from that. It's a thing that we've said on this show before when we talk about politics, is you can't just tell people that the system is bad. You also have to give them some kind of alternative, because people like to live and to exist and to have something. You have to give people their something. And these acts of rebellion can accumulate into something greater, which is kind of what this is about. And sometimes an act of rebellion is being gay.
Yeah,
Uh,
literally. You're like, you need to find something beautiful. And her response, her answer is pussy.
yes. Well, let's talk about some of the characters that are around here. Mostly we have just a bunch of kind of minor characters who are other nuns that she hates. There's like
Fucking
Mariel.
lords.
Yeah, there's Mariel, who's like kind of silly and has maybe some kind of mental problem, and she gets punished and killed for something she doesn't do. You have Maria de los Soledades. She's cruel as well. They all are, but she's kind of goofy, and she gets put in the Haymitch contraption. Um, she has Helena, who was the person who brought her in the first place, one who secretly stayed Christian, who was hiding a cross, which is considered a very big no-no. They call Christianity the erroneous God, the false son, and the negative mother, right? And they
Sounds
said
like
that was a
Protestants.
right. They said that was a God unable to contain the avarice and the stupidity of his flock, the God who let them poison the nucleus of the only thing that mattered. This God who left us adrift in a poisoned world cannot be named or looked upon.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
mean, he's kind of cooking about that.
Yeah, I mean, God let humanity ruin the world. Like one sees how somebody can come to this conclusion, right? One way to unmoor people from the world that was is to identify its culture with disaster and weakness and sin, of course, but you do still retain this sort of aesthetic connection to what was.
And the protagonist, actually, despite Helena being someone who takes care of her, who is sweet to her, who she is obviously in love with, out of fear, and buying in, is the one who turns in Helena for having a
Hmm.
cross, and Helena gets buried alive, with her mouth open. Her mouth gets covered in soil, and she is someone who like would talk about how like true disaster is having no stars, not being able to see the stars. Like, so there's her, there's Elida, who doesn't speak the language, and then there's fucking lords. Let's talk about fucking lords.
Lords who
Regina George of the
has
convent.
yes, exactly, and she has like just like Regina George, like she has her hangers on as well. Like the text refers to them as like her weaklings. So like
She has the
even
plastics,
within
yeah.
yeah, so even within this sort of rigid even within this sort of rigid hierarchy, there are cliques that have formed, and one gets the sense that this is a tolerated sort of dynamic because it keeps them punching laterally.
Lords is
Mhm.
someone that she's like, Lords always thinks of the best punishments. Like I always suggest punishments, but Lords thinks to put like needles in their boobs and
Oh
things
yeah,
of that
the
nature.
needle, the nipple needles. That was
The
that was
classic,
crazy.
the classic boob to needle trick. And Lords is always like sacrificing herself and being really loud and like performatively weeping and like being like, I'll oversee the funeral service and like looking at everyone else and smiling. I mean, she fucking hates lords, and also like definitely also wants to fuck lords. Like that's definitely going on.
I feel like Lourdes is a very specific kind of church lady.
Mm-hmm,
Yes.
mm-hmm.
Maybe not with the nipple thing, but
I mean, you never know.
that's true. Some of those church ladies, if you could see them unleashed.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Church Lady Unleashed is the same
Yeah.
thing.
And then there's the superior saint who is like the woman cult leader. Like basically the woman who is abetting the abusive man, as there
Yeah,
usually is.
And there's
notably,
rumors
yeah,
about her.
she's not called like the mother superior, is she? Yeah, she's the superior sister, because
Superior
like
sister, right.
because like even though she's been granted this sort of overseer role, right, she's still like the first among equals. You know, she's still subordinate to just him. In my head, I found myself referring to him as the abbot, just because like it made sense, like the abbot of the
Mhm.
monastery or whatever. But yeah, the text is like him, you know, just this dude who you never ever see.
And the superior sister also, you know, there's all these rumors about her. It's like, oh, they say she was a warrior in the water wars. They say that she's secretly a man. They say that she's you know, she has the strength of 20 people. They say that she's actually the brother or the sister of him.
They out
And we
here
don't
transvestigating the superior sister.
and yeah, the superior sister, we don't know about all of these things. What we do know is she is really into torturing these women sexually, and that
Hmm.
she is sexually abusing these women. We know that, I mean, like, you know, first there's multiple references to some experience our protagonist has had with her that gets crossed out, but we know she visited her one night and said, and that's how I know at least the part about her being a man is fake, so we know something
Hmm.
happened there. We also know like her friend, her friend Helena, while she was still alive, said like she had to do one of the worst duties, which was making the superior sister sigh. So
Mhm.
that's something.
Hmm.
um and we also know the superior sister like will just like break rods on these people. She's walking around all the time with whips and sticks, and it's like, lady, I'm sure you could find some people that would be willing to do this with you without you
Hi,
doing
I'm
all
some
this.
people.
Yeah. She turns two girls into puppy girls at one point.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, the like you do not have to hand it to the superior sister, but she does kind of sound hot.
She
Mm.
slays, I fear.
Well, and crucially as well, right? Whether or not it is true that she fought in the water wars and she survived with like tribes of women who passed down like survival skills and whatnot, like she's reassimilated, right? This is a path. This is a path that that people can potentially take once the struggle becomes too overwhelming. But crucially, like whether or not any of this is true, right? In these rumors that are allowed to exist, she is the one allowed to have fought for herself, not any of the nuns, right? Not any of the convent people. She is. There's something very Somers-esque, right? In this, she's arrogating
I
to
can't
her.
believe Christina Hoff Summers is in this book. Sorry, go ahead.
She's arrogating. No, but you're exactly right, right? She's arrogating to herself this legacy of struggle that now she seeks to stamp out in the unworthy, right? I've fought so hard to survive and to be where I am now, and where we are is exactly what we need to maintain.
Right.
And she doesn't want you to remember where you came from. Like they give these people new names. They're like, don't think about the past. Our protagonist is remembering her history throughout the book. We don't know exactly how old she is. We know she's physically beautiful because only the nuns all have to be physically beautiful. If you're not, you become one of the servants and you like sleep in a big puddle, like snuggle puddle in the library and like get pus everywhere.
That kind of
Um,
does sound better than freezing alone in your room, but
Yeah, and the servants are really vindictive too. Like it can't be overstated how much all these women hate each other. I mean, again, we opened the book with her putting cockroaches in Lord's pillow. Um, and the thing is, the book, because we're so in her head, like by the end of the book, I'm like, yeah, fuck Lords. Like I hope Lords gets whipped next. And it's like, well, no, that's not good actually.
yeah.
And and the book tells us why that's wrong, and then we feel bad about ourselves.
Throughout the story, yeah, we're getting little snippets of of the protagonist's past. Like she lived with her mother who taught her history and stuff about the world, how it used
Books,
to
yeah.
be. And then we hear about this gang of children she used to run around with after her mom died,
Tarantulas.
the tarantula children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
With their leader Ulysses. And I wonder, I feel like she's just like she doesn't remember these people's names, so she's just naming them after
100%.
characters.
100%. Yeah, the gang of children that she like read, her job was to be like Wendy from Peter Pan to like to read them stories that all got murdered by just said the adults, you know, which is a way she sees the world. Again, she's always been very alienated from anyone else. She has never had any structure she can cling to. She's had individuals, but like there was always been the man, him, the adults, the powers that be. Everything has been away from her. And you get like a really and then you get the cat someone didn't realize was a cat.
Cersei, yeah.
Cersei, my sorceress. Which is God.
Well, I mean, the
know,
book, to be fair to Bestie, who didn't realize that Cersei was a cat, like it you are intended to at first not know that Cersei is a cat. You think that
Right.
that she's mourning a human woman,
Mhm.
but the more that she talks about Cersei, like for one, Cersei never speaks, and
Yeah.
Cersei's always bringing her rats, and Cersei's always like hissing and puffing up and stuff, and you're like, oh, okay, Cersei's a cat.
Mhm.
Some people
Mhm.
think Cersei is a dog, I found on Reddit, but like I don't understand how you came to that conclusion. I
Right,
guess she
dogs
could be,
don't
except for
purr.
yeah, I mean I guess they could, but I've never seen one do that.
No. To me, there's not really a contradiction, right, in how Cersei is discussed and introduced at first, and how she's later revealed just in passing to be a cat, right? I think it's at a point where she's so alienated from any human connection that isn't fundamentally mean and vindictive, right? That when she talks about a connection to another being, it's going to sound romantic in nature, because that's the only language that she has for expressing affection.
Well,
Yeah.
and Cersei's like borderline mythical in this, like
Mhm.
the way she has stars and universes in her eyes, and this cat is like extremely helpful. And I mean, as soon as you know that this cat, you realize it's a cat. It's like, well, this person's dead. Like this kitty
Mhm.
is, of course. Like the cat
Yeah.
would be there.
Well, it also sounds like there are not a lot of animals around.
No,
And the pets, they've like been eating pets, and it's like a lot of the pets are being eaten and stuff. So I'm sure she doesn't seen a cat very much. And
They're eating
imagine
the
if you
dogs, they're eating the cats.
imagine if you hadn't seen a cat before and you
Mhm.
saw a cat, you'd be like, this is the greatest creature that has ever lived. This is the most
Mhm.
magnificent creature.
And in particular,
Lenore,
like
you're onto something there. Trump talking about the tarantula gang. They're invading the libraries. They're eating the dogs. They're very nasty kids. We
They're
gotta do
knocking
something
over all
about
the
them.
metal trees, the beautiful metal trees, folks.
We built you
they're
this
saying
metal
we're-
forest. You didn't want it.
The water wars. Only a few weeks left. We're almost done with the water wars.
Some countries are enacting what they call the Butlerian Jihad. Not all of them, but some of them.
We know
It's
we
all
have
gonna
to
black
worship
out
the
anyway.
AI. The AI is gonna figure it out. Don't listen to them. We're not doing a blackout. And then everything goes dark.
What the fuck was I going to say? No, there is a certain comfort with weirdness, with impossibility, right? With there is an ability that you have if you're in this convent to hold the thoughts in your head of, okay, like the servants have these duties to the animals, right, to maintaining the premises in this way, but also like I've never seen animals, right? And there's a contrast here with the animals that we do see, which are largely either they're like toxic butterflies that have been irradiated by the nuclear war or like the climate apocalypse or whatever has
Yeah,
caused them to be dangerous.
the butterflies of Noth from A Song of Ice and Fire in this book.
Yes, yes. What the fuck book is that in?
It's just referenced a couple times. They've just
Oh,
got it's
okay.
an island with
Okay.
poison butterflies that kill you.
Well, there are those guys in here. But so you do have that fauna there that is used explicitly to tell people, okay, stay inside. It's crazy out there. But the other animals that you see are dead, right? And that's what sort of piques our protagonist's interest. If I can, on page 45 here, right? When she sees a dead bird, right? A dead bird's decomposing. There are so few that I decide to pay it homage to observe death at work. The grass around the corpse is dry, the bird's fluids having drained down to nourish the earth. Skip a little bit. Flies and beetles feed on it, deposit their larvae in its hollows and its open mouth and its wounds. They eat its flesh, its tissues, its eyes, its organs in a minute, frenetic dance. Together, silently, they shred the bird. They produce a smell that's rank and heavy. I can also smell the perfume of dead flowers. In parentheses, I wonder if God is inside the larva. Our God, whose name we don't know. Crossed out. I wonder if God is the hunger behind hunger. And if behind God lurks the hunger for another God, right? And it's in decay, right? Perhaps paradoxically, that she sees any sort of alternative to the stagnation they're trying to engender here, right? She gives it pause for it gives her pause for thought because it defies stagnation. It's in use. It's fueling some other process that's going to give rise to something that she doesn't necessarily know is coming, right? That is not subject to prophecy and to prediction.
And finally, we do get the thing that's going to really, really break this thing down. It is the arrival of Lucia, a wanderer from the outside. She sees her passed out on the grass and says, I observe her. She's majestic, like the white deer in the stained glass. Could she have been the silhouette hiding among the trees? Small circles of sunlight filter through the leaves and move slowly over her dress and skin. A dragonfly perches on her stomach. I cover my mouth so I don't cry out with joy. I haven't seen one in years. I thought they were extinct. And this wanderer, it goes on and it says she smells of sweat and dirt, but strongest is the scent of something sweet and fierce, like the blue of a limpid sky, a blue like a precious stone, something that can envelop you, enchant you, split you open with pleasure, a paradise at the edge of an abyss. And it's like, why can't lesbians just say someone's hot is my question. Like,
Yeah. Girl, that's gay. Anyway,
Because mere language isn't sufficient, right? You have to have the intentionality, you have to have the physicality, right? In some way, like, you have to look at somebody and be like, damn, I want to bite through their spine.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Am I wrong?
Gay romance be like, man on man gay romance be like, just like a DM, like Sindcock, and then the lesbian romance be like, you are like a precious blue stone. Beautiful, we love it.
Yeah. Also, I think it's interesting that she describes things in a very almost synesthetic way, how she's always describing things as colors. She says that she
Yes.
has a yellow wolf's voice.
Yeah, I have no idea what
Which-
that means, but I love it.
I think I can kind of picture what it means. Like, I feel like that's an evocative way to describe someone's voice. Like, husky, kind of, probably.
Just want to give a shot doing the yellow wolf's voice.
I can't. I have to warm up my throat to do the yellow
gotcha.
wolf voice.
I gotcha. Yeah, listeners, do a yellow wolf's voice now where you stand. At the $999 tier on Patreon, I'll do a yellow wolf voice.
Yeah.
We're gonna get emails like, that was an orange wolf voice, clearly.
Yeah, come on. Stop with these periwinkle German Shepherd voices. I don't know. She brings this woman in at great danger to her, but of course, because Lucia, who is not called Lucia, she has another name, but we never find out what it is, but she gets named Lucia by the superior sister because she's beautiful, because she seems cool. She gets brought into the monastery, and she instantly is like the best at being a nun, like a slave nun. She's like goated at being a slave nun. I'm reminded often of, did y'all ever watch, this is so random, did y'all ever watch that like ridiculous college humor web series Jake and Amir back in the day?
I know of it.
There's a line that's stuck in my head from Amir Blumenfeld in that, where he goes, where someone says you would have died he says you would have died in any other generation. He goes, I would have killed it in Egypt as a slave. And for some reason that's like burned into my head. That's Lucia. She kills it as a slave.
Yeah,
But
she's got that sub energy she can bring out.
she's transcending. She's like, listen, they're like, we've got to do a sacrifice because of acid rain. And she's like, I'll walk on coals. And everyone's like, fuck. And she walks on coals and doesn't get burned. Lords tries to put wasps in her room to kill her. And she's able to mind control the wasps. They turn into a halo and attack Lords. We don't know how she's doing this, but it sure is cool that she is.
Being gay makes you magic. You can do magical spells.
You become the wasp bender.
And in fact, when the two of them do go into the forest and have gay sex over the grave of the woman she used to love, fireflies show up for the first time. And she says, like, my mother told me that there used to be fireflies, and she only knew that because her like grandfather told her.
You
Again,
would not
we're
believe
like,
your eyes.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe your eyes. It's so true. It's a good point, Lenore. And I love I love the sex scene, by the way. It's really, really, really sweet. I like it a lot. I mean, it's barely a sex scene. It's more of just like her floating in the sky scene. But
Yeah,
it's because it's. I think it speaks to a sort of desire to stake out like your desire for this person, right? Your affection for this person. She relates to this person in a way that she hasn't to anybody else, but because there's so much because your life is like mortification of the flesh, right? Because like the physical, right, the temporal is totally colonized by, right, it's totally the domain of this convent and what they do to you, what they turn you into physically, right? I think there is a certain sense of, okay, if I stake out our relationship here in the realm of the conceptual, right, in the realm of like pure sensation, unmoored from the physical, right, I do think that's a logical place for somebody who's been through what Homegirl's been through to end up.
agreed.
I do love that they're literally hooking. I just have to highlight again. They are hooking up on the grave of the woman she used to love. It is
That's
really
goth.
cool.
Yeah, well, because it makes sense, right? There's so much imagery in this about, right, if you can't see what the future is going to be like, right? If you can, if anything beyond this is closed off to you, right? It's as y'all said earlier about like, okay, if I write this, the mere act of having written this will have spoken this thing into the world, right? And likewise, like, if we're coming together and sharing each other on the grave of this person, right? Like, I have a frame of reference earlier in my life from this woman who's been blasted from history, and yet it can still give rise to some more successful version of this relationship.
What do y'all make of Lucia having all these powers about her? From whence do these powers come? What's the metaphor here? I'm not asking, how the magic system works in a again like hard fantasy type way, but like, what do y'all make of just this magic coming with her? Like, jokes aside about lesbian sex bringing dead species back to life.
I think that she is the person who she's not fooled by any of this for a second. And I think that like that is obvious in the way that she can walk across the coals and not get burned. Like none of this is going to drag her down into it. She has like a sense of herself. She has she's been able to hold on to herself, and I think part of that reason is because what is it when the wanderers first, when they find anybody new who's come into into their walled garden, men are shot on sight, and women are first put in to the Tower of Silence for days to get rid of like the like contamination, quote unquote. But really, what they seem to be doing is like starving them, so to the point that they like forget who they are. Like they're tortured for like several days to like depersonalize them, and this doesn't happen to Lucia because the narrator brings her water.
There's also a sense of I did have a slightly more pessimistic reading of of the way that Lucy is described in her moments of like miracle, right? Not that it's the totality of how she's perceived by our protagonist, right? But there's a desire, I think, that lingers here to be, at least if not on the part of the protagonist, then on the part of some of the other sisters, right? This desire to be a perfect victim, if a victim is all you can be, right? To be able to go through these trials, but nonetheless um, stave off this mortification of the flesh, and also vindictive harm from your fellow victims, right? What do
When
we
the
got?
superior sister goes low, we go high.
Exactly, exactly. Like some say that Lucia and her black hair falling under her white nightgown looked like a living sculpture. At first, they thought her eyes were closed, but they were fixed on the floor. The black and yellow wasps had surrounded her, but they did not attack. Instead, they hovered there like they were waiting for orders. They had formed an aura around her, an aura that seemed to pulse. She was crowned by a cloak of wasps. No one spoke. We just listened to Lords' wailing and the sharpened buzzing, the damage lurking in the air, the fury. No one could explain it clearly, but they said the wasps began to scream with their bodies. Those who were there said the screaming, which seemed human, was emitted by the body of each wasp vibrating violently. Right? We don't know how this happened, but nonetheless, somehow she's able to, in a sense, right? It's an acknowledgement of one's own sins without the necessity to change your behavior, right? If somebody else has come along and put you in your place and given you an extra rationale to continue doing what you're doing.
I am really excited to be able to fight all these characters of the Dusk Bloods. That's going to be really good. The next FromSoft game is going to be set at this cathedral. So for me, Lucia, a lot of what her deal is can be summarized like this. When she's about to walk on the coals, our protagonist thinks, I felt uncomfortable when I looked at her as though my body were suddenly foreign. Then I understood. She was the maker of an entire universe, an inner universe, her own, and she was the sole inhabitant. Which, this is kind of what our protagonist has been doing by writing her diary. And basically being like, even if I'm the only one in this universe, in this diary, things that I have experienced exist as a result of this. She's very Julia pilled from 1984.
Yeah, I was about to
as it
say,
were.
yeah, it's like 1984 when they start dancing and they're like, they break the rules of gravity.
Yes. She's very Julia pilled. She's very, right down to the using sex as like the way to go against the man. Unfortunately, unfortunately for Julia, she never gets quite on this level of resistance. She sticks with the sex. And so we get sort of towards the end of the book, because this is not a very long book. Another a member of the sort of upper order gets murdered. Do we know who does it? Does it ever say?
I feel like that they're just being gotten rid of, or they die like because they're pregnant. I feel like they're being killed because they're pregnant, or because
Yeah.
it seems like the one who dies later in the book tried to give herself an abortion.
Yeah.
There's several points in the text, yeah, where people are referred to as being like swollen with like sin or like perdition,
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it sounds like that it seems like he might dispose of them before they can give birth. I
Yeah.
wonder.
Regardless, several people get blamed for it. The sister superior is cracking down, and we finally get a situation where Lords is spreading rumors that it was Lucia, because Lords is very jealous in her way. Our protagonist drops the crazy mushrooms that make you crazy into her food. Lords goes crazy and starts dancing outside naked. The superior sister ends up like taking advantage of her in her, messed up state. The protagonist and Lucia jump the superior sister.
Yeah, they beat the shit out of her.
But they're wearing veils, so she doesn't know which ones they are. And the superior sister takes it out on Lords and hangs Lords. And then this is your moment where the protagonist is like, well, I hated Lords, but like, this is no fun. And so
Yeah,
she
she
bury her.
discovers class consciousness.
Yeah, she's like, turns out Lords was also a victim, even if I hate her. And I'm gonna give her my special crystal that I like a lot, and I'm gonna bury her in a nice little grave. And it's a moment of class consciousness. And then A few more horrible things happen. Maria de los Soledades dies in the isolation chamber. 2 girls get turned into puppy girls. A lot of people get beaten.
There's worse
Um,
fates.
um,
Yeah,
thank you,
definitely
Lenore.
in this place there are.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I was thinking about it, like, as far as like the things you can do in this world, it's like, whatever. Um, and then finally, they announce, oh, we've chosen a new one to be enlightened, and it's quite clear who it's gonna be. It's gonna be Lucia, and Metroidvania style this entire time. She's been wanting to go behind this door that's been sealed away. You need to have certain items to get through the door, and she's progressed enough in the plot that now she can unlock the evil
Oh, you
door.
said Metroidvania. For a second, I thought you said Megalovania, and I was like, wait.
Yeah, no, 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 no,
Well,
no,
she
no,
kind of
no.
goes Megalovania style at the end.
Doing a genocide run on the convent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because she comes in and finds the thing that we all knew was going to be happening. Lucia is being raped by him, and the sister superior is watching. Weird little freak.
Yeah.
And she fucking stabs the sister superior in the kidneys.
Hell yeah.
Well, you don't need both of those.
Yeah. She's fine.
Well, she's fine enough to stab her back.
Yeah. Right. So then her and Lucia, and then some other of the other enlightened run.
Yeah, several of them are swollen with sin, quote unquote. They're pregnant.
Right. Yeah. Some of them run, and some of them try to attack them. Like there are some of them that are still on the side of their abuser, which is always going to be the case. And then a few escape with them, and it ends basically with the speaker telling Lucia and the other women to run and leave her behind, and they do.
Yeah, you have this moment where she's sitting in the hollow, this hollow that
Because she's
she
been
shared.
stabbed.
Yeah, this hollow that she shared with Helena once, not sexually. They just had come there and had shared sexually with Lucia. She's bleeding and she's writing this final text there, which is kind of, because of course this whole thing is this diary. And it says, she begged me to escape with her, but I kissed her, stroked her black hair, hugged the blue paradise that she was, and told her I had no time left. I showed her the wound, and she understood it was too deep. She hugged me back and wept until 3 of the enlightened tried to take her away. Lucia put up a fight. I told her they had to flee, that if they stayed, they'd be killed. Before they left, she hugged me again, and through her tears, she called me by my real name, kissed me one last time, and in her translucent voice said 3 words, but they weren't words. They were a vibration of fire, fire that enveloped me like a river of light, a river of dazzling flowers. I'm going to leave this book of the night, these pages I've been writing and protecting for so long, in the hollow of the tree, our tree. Maybe one day someone will find them and read them, or they'll get wet and return to their origin, to the trees where they began, and these words will become the woods, will be purified by the sap, will glow in the roots, or maybe they'll disintegrate into a void that caresses, governs, hurts. I hear the bells. They are coming. And that's the end of the book.
It's pretty hard editing.
Yeah.
What do you make of the 3 words? What are those?
It's probably "I love you."
Yeah.
Is that what
yeah,
they are?
that seems pretty
Yeah.
clear cut.
I'm fucking stupid. Of course that's what they were. God damn it. It's like, what were the 3? I genuinely did not realize that until this moment.
I
really
want
stupid.
pizza, you know.
Klaatu Barada Nikto.
My sister's first sentence when she was a baby was "I need pizza."
Let's go.
Wait. This is making me think of that Ted Cruz tweet. It's one of my favorite tweets of all time. It's from 11 years ago. And it's Ted Cruz. You're not going to be able to see this. I'll
Can't
send a
see
picture in
that
the
shit.
chat. For those who don't know, it's Ted Cruz standing in front of a butter cow. Like a cow made of butter, to be clear.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what's a butter cow?
The caption is, wow, a cow made of butter. My girls would love it. In fact, the first sentence Carolyn ever said was, I like butter.
She just like me for real.
And he posted this while running for president. That's really cool.
That's awesome.
Wow, a cow made. I'm so sorry. I like butter. That's what she said. She's like, those 3 words, they rolled over me like fire. But no, it's genuinely, jokes aside, this is a tough ending, but also it does have hope in a way that Tinder of the Flesh doesn't. Because if this was like Tinder of the Flesh, the ending would be our protagonist being like, no, I'm going to turn in her too. I want to ascend, I want to become the new Sister Superior or whatever. That is not what happens. She sacrifices her life, and there are people who get away. We don't know what's going to happen to them.
She basically does a Ben Richards. She does 9/11.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens. What if Ben Richards was awesome?
Yeah, what if Ben Richards was based?
Yeah. What if Ben Richards didn't say so many slurs? Not none. This character probably
Then
says
he'd be
some.
movie Ben Richards, who is based.
Yeah, but then she'd survive, and that's not.
Yeah, that's true.
Is this the best Running Man adaptation? Sound off in the comments.
The bleeding woman. I don't know.
So my thought was like, okay, so this is what's happening in the rest of the world during On the Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Everyone in Australia is being so proper, and
yeah.
And in particular, like the British Isles are directly said to have like sunk beneath the sea.
yes.
Yeah. Finally.
We'll survive.
They survived the radiation because of this.
Yeah, that's the good ending element of this book.
Mm-hmm.
There are positives. So, our takeaway. What are our takeaways aside from justice for Cersei? I'm so sorry, little kitty, that you got murdered. And
she saved her person though.
And justice for lesbians. And so,
Yeah.
it's the more lesbian sex you have, the more endangered species will come back from the brink.
Yeah.
When you jump the superior sister, double tap.
Yeah.
Yes, please stab her twice.
Every time you eat pussy,
Double tap.
A fire. I was gonna say a firefly gets its wings, but also
it is cool that the superior sister is a badass because she gets jumped not once but twice in this book, and she's like clearly fine or
yeah, they like beat the shit out of her. They like hit her with sticks in like her ribs and her head, and then she's just like walks it off.
Mm-hmm. And then again she stabs her in the kidneys. It specifies, and she turns around and says, "Call an ambulance, but not for me," and stabs her. Like we hate to hand it to the superior sister, but
yeah, I did like this. I thought I didn't think there was like it's a good length for a novella. It's a good novella. It's worth reading for sure. I feel like I'm not gonna say it didn't feel derivative to me. I feel like I've read a lot of stuff like it, but I think it did what it was doing especially well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and it very definitely sort of you avoid the sort of like Manny Petty dream. I almost said manic pixie dream girlification of Lucia, right? Because there's no guaranteed happy ending for her. You know, she's not like innately especially like special, like just regardless of the sort of living saint that the text paints her as, because like she's described through the eyes of, you know, somebody whose view of the world has been skewed by religious trauma, by isolation, right? Her, and also the rumors of like the other sisters that say, oh, like she's a shapeshifter, right? She can like heal from unnatural like things, right? And like that juxtaposed with her ability to see like cathedrals everywhere because she has the correct eyes, right? She told me that plants, animals, elements of nature have a secret name, each and every one of them, that every flower hides the secret name in its petals, a name assigned by creation. Knowing the name, hearing the vibration is what reveals the true world to you. Can you hear it? I asked her. Sometimes, she said. What's the true world like? I wanted to know. Like this one, she said, only better. It's fascinating, magical. And there's nothing inherently magical in how she explains the world outside, right? It is how you would explain the world to somebody who has never experienced it. It is how she would describe, like, the color red to somebody who has never experienced it, right? There's no inherent sort of virtue or magic in her, just this experience that she has that she wants to, you know, share with others.
Yeah, I literally just saw a tweet come up that said, look, the lesbians love to be doomed by cosmic circumstances. It's enrichment for them. They get agitated otherwise.
Mm-hmm. And crucially,
this was about Life is Strange, but I agree.
I need to get around to playing that.
Life is Strange?
Yeah, I've never touched it before.
So fun.
Oh, well, it's got a sequel that I've heard is okay. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I hear you got a lot of exposure from it.
Yeah, double exposure.
I just sent another
Jokes.
tweet. I just sent another screenshot of a tweet to the chat. This one, Lenore, I like that our protagonist is just Jordan Peterson off his meds, or on his meds rather, where he just posted a picture of a water bottle and said, "There are cathedrals everywhere for those with eyes to see." And it's just the most normal picture of a water bottle you've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
Well,
but no, but like
'cause-
jokes is like that. Her and now that's him like being back on the benzos, but
Mhm.
the protagonist in this novel really is like that. She's just like, oh my god, a water bottle, and then she,
Well,
like,
what's
does
different,
that.
right? Is that she comes to the realization that yeah, okay, this beauty that that Lucia sees, that everybody else has been sort of Hunchback or Notre Dame style, so far skewed from the perception of beauty that they can't see it, right? It's not enough merely to perceive it. You also have to share it with others, right? You have to render it in some way that's will outlast you.
She's also just been the speaker's just been so starved for beauty. She's like a peasant child with a Dorito,
Yeah.
with like
Yes.
things that are beautiful.
Yeah, it's the difference between her and like the like there's a sort of confusing bit late in the book where like child version of Homegirl like stumbles upon an old woman that's being like eaten alive by a dog or whatever.
A possum or
And
something, yeah.
right. And that's the difference, is that like she's completely alone in this, right? Something is feeding on her parasitically and solely aggrandizing itself, right? It's a matter of survival as opposed to an act of construction.
Yeah, it was
I'm trying
pretty
to
good.
think,
This is a one we recommend.
Yeah,
Solid.
like I said, like y'all said, like it's I think Tender as the Flesh is still the better book. But it's if Tender as the Flesh is like a 10, this is like an 8.5 at least.
Yeah, it's also quite short. You could read it in like a sitting.
I can confirm, like the first time I read this, I sat down, and I am such a slow reader, it's just so difficult for me to really just sit down and lock in, but I read this in 4.5 hours.
Lenore, I don't think you're a slow reader. I don't think you could be on this podcast if you were a slow reader. I'm like getting ahead of the emails that we're gonna get about you saying that.
I'm slower than y'all.
Yeah, I'm pretty quick when I actually fucking read the book, which I did
I
this
have
time.
Lenore, I have no other skills. this is what I've cultivated. I read shit really fast. I've got one more thing to say at the end about this book, but before I do, folks, Patreon. By the time you're listening to this, it's out. It's not out today that I'm recording this, but it will be out on Monday that you're listening to this, because we all know you listen to this within the first hour of it coming out, as you should. Even though it's going to be longer than an hour. Patreon, subscribe to it. Please gift it to your friends. Tell your friends
When we
about
know
it.
the
Share it.
URL, we'll tell you.
Yes, it's going to be linked. It's going to be linked in the episode description.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, it's going to be something like Patreon/WorkersLit or something like that.
Tell your mom, tell your dad.
And then people will tell me jokes like, haha, workers slit, haha. No, it's workers lit, not workers slit.
All credit to Aisha for coming up with that.
Yes.
Worker slit? Yeah.
Yeah, you were
Aisha was the first
yeah.
person to realize, but you've not been the last person to realize. Several people have told me. I'm like, sorry, or thank you, or you're welcome, whether you like that or not. I don't know.
Right, just like Hassan Piker's name on Twitch being Hasanabi, also Hassan Abai.
Does that mean anything in particular?
Like a bisexual.
Oh.
Yeah. Hasanabi is like Brother Hassan in Turkish,
Yes.
but
They're not being very brotherly to him on that CNN panel that was on the other day. I like immediately went to the guy's Twitter, like the person who was like they had on the panel as the expert. I was like, I bet you his Twitter's real normal. And like the first tweet is like, Miss Rachel should be executed. And I was like, yeah.
the only thing that this big Hassan Piker thing is doing is that like my dad is texting me about Hassan Piker. Like people who did not know about Hassan Piker and shouldn't know about Hassan Piker have been texting me about Hassan Piker.
All right. Well, do y'all have anything else to say about the Patreon before I say my like little thing I have at the end?
Just do it.
Just do it. Nike style.
Yeah, just do it. Challenge us, scar us, traumatize us.
No, that's not. No.
Well, how else are we supposed to become the enlightened?
Well, on that, I'll just say this at the end, a little bit. When I was in, thank you, Shiloh. When I was in high school, I went to a few different Christian schools. I was also homeschooled. One school in particular, one that I've referenced on our episode with Nathan Evans Fox, the one that was attached to the church run by Steve Berger. When I went there, our headmaster of the school, I remember multiple times would refer to, we are creating a new Eden, is a thing he would love to say, which is very crazy and weird. That's not a thing you should say ever if you're not like a villain in a JRPG. But he would talk about that and would talk in, and like silly as that sounds, that led to people, especially queer kids like myself and others who were trans, really suffering really badly. We were all closeted and we couldn't come out if we wanted to be at the school. To be at the school, you had to sign a profession of faith, all of this different stuff. And the stuff people would go through was really horrible. And I believed it at the time, being a teenager, I was bought into it. I was, I'd roll my eyes at some of the stuff, but more or less I bought it. I bought the things about God. I bought the things about the world. I bought the things about myself that the people would say. And it was through the act of writing and through the act of just writing down my thoughts and journaling and writing short stories that'll never see the light of day and a Christian novel that will see the light of day if you subscribe to the $10 tier and like just a little bit stuff like that. It was through that writing and through engaging with media at first, Christian media, and then pushing the boundaries to, the more edgy Christian media, the Ted Deckers of the world, and then pushing further and reading, actually good books, that I came to realize that there was other things, but I had to have some kind of replacement for that ideology. I had to have something more. And if I had just sort of been myopic, if I had only listened to them, if I could very easily have turned into someone else who was talking like them and someone who was using what talents I have to self-replicate this process, this pain. I could be someone like the Sister Superior who very clearly is, in her case, attracted to other women and is, doing horrible deeds in the dark while shaming people for the love and feelings that they have. So I wanted to say, like, as extreme as this book is, these kind of places have a reality to them. And the way out is through thinking, through writing, through being with other people, through reading, and through having gay sex. So, folks,
Amen.
Thanks for listening.
Hell yeah.
Bye, guys.
And you have your homework now. Bye.
Have fun.
Pages upon pages, words with the form of the worker's brow. Got my nose to the spine, nose soaking up all